Rwanda's rise. What can Africa learn from one of the most remarkable comebacks in modern history? Take a look at this city. Clean streets, modern buildings, business conferences attracting visitors from around the world, technology startups, luxury hotels, a growing middle class. Today, Kigali is often presented as one of Africa's great success stories. Many visitors leave asking the same question: how did Rwanda do it? Because just a generation ago, Rwanda was known for something very different. Not innovation, not economic growth, not stability, but one of the darkest chapters in modern history. In 1994, Rwanda experienced a genocide that shocked the world. In just 100 days, hundreds of thousands of people were killed, families were destroyed, communities were torn apart, the economy collapsed. The country seemed broken beyond repair. Yet today, Rwanda is frequently cited as one of Africa's fastest-growing economies and one of the safest countries on the continent. So what happened? How did Rwanda rise from tragedy to become a case study in economic resilience? What lessons can the rest of Africa learn from Rwanda's journey? This is not simply Rwanda's story. It is a story about leadership, vision, difficult choices, and the future of African development. From collapse to survival. When the genocide ended in July 1994, Rwanda faced a reality few countries have experienced. The damage wasn't limited to buildings or infrastructure. The damage was psychological, social, economic, institutional. Entire communities had been devastated. Large numbers of professionals had been killed or had fled the country. Government institutions barely functioned. Trust between citizens had collapsed. For many observers, Rwanda appeared destined for decades of instability. The expectation wasn't rapid recovery. The expectation was prolonged crisis. But Rwanda's new leadership saw the situation differently. They understood something important. Before you can build an economy, you must first build a functioning state. And before you can build a functioning state, you must restore order. The foundation, stability first. Whether one agrees with every decision Rwanda's leaders made or not, there is little debate about one thing. The government made stability its top priority. The logic was straightforward. No investor will risk money in a country consumed by violence. No entrepreneur will build a business in an environment of uncertainty. No tourist will visit a place they consider unsafe. No development plan works if people fear for their lives. So Rwanda focused relentlessly on restoring security and creating a predictable environment. Over time, that stability became one of the country's biggest economic assets. And this may be the first major lesson for many African nations. Natural resources matter. Foreign investment matters. Infrastructure matters. But stability is often the foundation that makes everything else possible. Building a new national identity. Yet security alone wasn't enough. Rwanda faced another challenge. How do you rebuild a nation when citizens have been divided by conflict? The government chose a controversial but ambitious approach. It emphasized a shared national identity over ethnic divisions. The message was simple: the future could not be built if the country remained trapped in the conflicts of the past. This effort remains debated today. Supporters argue it helped prevent renewed violence. Critics question aspects of how it was implemented. But regardless of where one stands, the objective was clear. The leadership believed that unity was necessary for long-term development. And here lies another lesson. Economic growth is not only about money. It is also about social cohesion. Countries divided by conflict often struggle to unlock their full potential. The war against corruption. Another pillar of Rwanda's strategy was fighting corruption. Now, let's be honest. Corruption is one of the biggest obstacles facing many developing countries. Every missing public dollar is a school not built, a hospital not equipped, a road not repaired. Rwanda's government treated corruption not as an inconvenience but as a direct threat to national development. The goal was to create institutions that worked efficiently and predictably. Investors noticed, international organizations noticed, citizens noticed, and over time, Rwanda developed a reputation as one of Africa's least corrupt countries. That reputation became a competitive advantage because trust is an economic asset. Countries that build trust often attract more investment and create more opportunities. Thinking beyond the next election. Perhaps the most important part of Rwanda's story is that its leaders thought long-term. Many governments focus on the next election. Rwanda focused on the next generation. The country launched ambitious development strategies known as Vision 2020 and later Vision 2050. These plans looked decades into the future. The question was not, how do we survive politically this year? The question was, what kind of country do we want Rwanda to become in 30 years? That shift in thinking changed everything. Instead of reacting to problems, Rwanda tried to design a future. And this may be one of the most powerful lessons for African leadership. Development rarely happens by accident. It usually begins with a clear vision and the discipline to pursue it consistently over time. Betting on people. One of Rwanda's smartest investments wasn't a building. It wasn't an airport. It wasn't a conference center. It was people. The government expanded access to healthcare, improved education, promoted technology skills, and made a significant effort to increase women's participation in public life and leadership. Today, Rwanda has one of the highest levels of female representation in parliament anywhere in the world. This wasn't simply about symbolism. It was about maximizing human potential, because a country's greatest resource is not what lies beneath the ground. It is the talent, creativity, and productivity of its people. This is another lesson that resonates across Africa. Minerals can be extracted, oil can run out, commodity prices can fall, but investments in people continue generating returns for generations, building an economy for the future. Rwanda also recognized a difficult reality. The country could not rely on vast oil reserves. It could not depend on enormous mineral wealth. It needed a different strategy. So Rwanda tried to position itself as a regional hub for business, tourism, conferences, finance, and technology. Major infrastructure projects became part of that vision. The Kigali Convention Center, the expansion of Rwanda, new roads, new business districts, technology initiatives like Kigali Innovation City. The idea was ambitious. Instead of competing solely through natural resources, Rwanda would compete through efficiency, connectivity, and innovation. In other words, Rwanda wanted to become a place where ideas, talent, and investment could meet. The results have been impressive. Over the last 2 decades, Rwanda has frequently ranked among Africa's fastest-growing economies. Millions of citizens have seen improvements in healthcare and living standards. Life expectancy has increased dramatically. Poverty rates have fallen. Tourism has become a major source of revenue. Kigali has emerged as a destination for international conferences and business events. These achievements are not imaginary. They are real, and they explain why Rwanda receives so much international attention. But no serious discussion of Rwanda is complete without addressing the other side of the story. The debate. Rwanda's development model remains one of the most debated in Africa. Supporters point to stability, economic growth, and improved quality of life. Critics point to concerns about political freedoms and restrictions on opposition. Some argue Rwanda demonstrates that strong state leadership can accelerate development. Others question whether long-term prosperity can be sustained without broader political openness. These debates are important, and they remind us that development is rarely simple. There are often trade-offs, difficult choices, competing priorities. The truth is that Rwanda's story cannot be reduced to either praise or criticism. It is more complex than that, and perhaps that complexity is exactly what makes it worth studying. What can Africa learn? Ultimately, Rwanda's story is bigger than Rwanda. It raises questions every African country must answer. How do nations create stability without sacrificing accountability? How do governments think beyond short political cycles? How do countries transform human talent into economic strength? How do societies overcome division and build a shared future? And how do African nations move beyond dependence on raw commodities toward knowledge, innovation, and value creation? Rwanda does not offer perfect answers, but it offers valuable lessons. It shows that history does not have to determine destiny. It shows that long-term planning matters. It shows that institutions matter. It shows that leadership matters. And it shows that transformation is possible. A generation ago, many people looked at Rwanda and saw only tragedy. Today, many look at Rwanda and see possibility. The journey is not complete. The debates are not settled. The challenges remain real. But one fact is undeniable. A country that once symbolized despair has become one of the most discussed development stories in Africa. For African leaders, Rwanda raises a powerful question: what becomes possible when a nation commits itself to a long-term vision and pursues it relentlessly? And for Africa's younger generation, perhaps the question is even bigger: what kind of continent do you want to build? Because the Africa of 2050 will not appear by accident. It is being shaped right now by leaders, by institutions, by entrepreneurs, by students, by citizens, and by the choices made today. Rwanda's story may not be a perfect blueprint, but it is a reminder that even after unimaginable tragedy, renewal is possible, and that may be one of the most important lessons Africa can carry into the future. This is Sal Pierce signing off from VlogND, where we work to uncover the true stories of Africa and the world. Thank you for watching. If this deep dive challenged your thinking and helped you see the complex forces shaping Africa more clearly, please consider subscribing. It helps us continue this work and ensures you never miss what comes next. We truly appreciate your support.